My precious child, something irreversible is about to happen on March 29th, and heaven has chosen this exact moment to speak your name. This is not coincidence. This is not random timing. This is not just another emotional message scrolling across your screen. On March 29th, congratulations, Archangel Michael says you will be overwhelmed with joy tonight because God is finally giving you that one thing you've been praying for. Open this now or miss it forever. Yes, you heard that correctly. There is one specific prayer, one silent cry, one desperate whisper you have repeated when no one else could hear you. You thought heaven was silent. You thought maybe the delay meant denial. You even questioned if you were forgotten. But listen carefully. The delay was not rejection. The silence was not absence. The waiting was preparation. And tonight the shift begins. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of divine timing. He does not move without command. He does not announce without certainty. And he is declaring that March 29th carries a spiritual release that has been building behind the scenes for months, maybe even years. You have been tested in patience. You have been refined in disappointment. You have been strengthened in secrecy. But what you did not see was a rearrangement happening in the unseen realm. While you were crying, doors were being aligned. While you were doubting, conversations were being prepared. While you were waiting, your name was being written into a blessing you did not expect. This is the moment heaven says, enough delay. The one thing you've been praying for, it has a name in your heart right now. You do not need me to describe it. The moment I mention it, your spirit reacts. Is it restoration? Is it breakthrough? Is it an answer about love? Is it financial relief? Is it healing? Is it clarity? Is it peace? Whatever it is, God has not ignored it. Archangel Michael is sent when there is movement in spiritual warfare. And make no mistake, your blessing faced resistance. There were forces that tried to stall it. There were moments designed to exhaust you so you would stop believing. What you didn't. Even when your faith felt small, even when your prayers felt weak, even when you almost gave up, you still whispered, God, please. That whisper was enough. March 29th is not just another day. It is a spiritual intersection, a crossing point between almost and finally. Tonight, joy will not knock quietly. It will overwhelm you. Not because you earned it perfectly, not because you never doubted, but because grace has decided it is time. There is something about to reach you that will make the previous struggle make sense. And when it happens, you will look back at this very message and realize heaven was preparing your heart so you would recognize it. That is why you must open this now. Because missing this message means missing the preparation. And when blessing comes without preparation, people mistake it for coincidence. This is not coincidence. Archangel Michael speaks with urgency because timing matters. The window is narrow. The alignment is precise. The opportunity is sensitive to your awareness. Awareness activates reception. And tonight, you must be spiritually alert. There is a conversation coming. There is a notification coming. There is an opportunity approaching. There is an emotional release building. There is a confirmation forming. You will feel it before you see it. A sudden peace. A strange excitement. A calm confidence. That is not imagination. That is divine assurance. You have been living under pressure. You have carried silent burdens. You have smiled while holding tears inside. And heaven has recorded every single moment. Nothing was wasted. Archangel Michael now stands as a protector over what is being released to you. Because when God gives something precious, It must be guarded, and what you are about to receive is precious. It may look small to others. It may not impress the crowd, but to you it will mean everything. That one thing you have been praying for, the answer that felt delayed, the breakthrough that seemed distant, the joy that felt postponed. It is closer than your doubt. And tonight, March 29th, marks the turning point. Do not brush this aside. Do not scroll casually. Do not treat this as entertainment. Gauze. Breathe. Let your spirit absorb this truth. Heaven has scheduled your joy, and when it arrives, it will not trickle in gently. It will rush over you like a wave you did not expect, but desperately needed. Prepare your heart. Clear your thoughts. Because Archangel Michael did not announce celebration unless the victory is already secured. Something is shifting right now as you listen. Can you feel it? The heaviness lifting, the tension loosening, the hope rising again. This is only the beginning of what is unfolding tonight, and what comes next will reveal why the wait had to be this long. Beloved soul, what is about to unfold is not random emotion. It is divine orchestration reaching its final note. March 29th carries a weight in the spirit that you cannot see with your physical eyes. All week, something has felt different. A strange anticipation. A quiet tension. Almost as if the air itself hath been holding a secret. That secret is about to be revealed, and Archangel Michael stands at the edge of this revelation like a guardian waiting for the command to release what has been held back. You have been asking God for one specific thing. Not 10 things. Not a list of wishes. One deep request that has lived in your heart like an unspoken ache. You tried to move on from it. You tried to convince yourself you did not need it. But every time you prayed, it returned to your lips. That prayer hath been heard. But here is what you must understand. When God prepares to give you something that will change your emotional world, He first strengthens your inner foundation. That is why the waiting season felt so heavy. That is why you felt stretched beyond your comfort. That is why doors seemed closed longer than expected. It was not punishment. It was preparation. Archangel Michael has been assigned to guard the process because what is coming to you had to pass through resistance. There were delays that protected you from receiving it too early. There were closed paths that saved you from accepting something less. What you thought was rejection was actually divine editing. Now the editing is complete. Tonight, the shift will not feel dramatic at first. It may start quietly. A message, a realization, a sudden change of tone in someone's voice, a breakthrough in your own thinking. But once it begins, it will unfold quickly. You will realize that everything has been aligning behind the scenes. The joy you are about to experience is not surface-level happiness. It is the kind that makes your chest feel lighter, the kind that makes you breathe deeper, the kind that causes tears not from pain, but from relief. You are stepping into answered prayer territory. And listen carefully. When it happens, do not downplay it. Do not tell yourself it is just coincidence. Do not shrink your excitement because you are afraid it might not last. Receive it fully. Heaven does not release blessings halfway. This is why this message reached you now. Awareness positions you correctly. When you expect nothing, you miss everything. But when your spirit is alert, you recognize the moment. There is also something else you need to hear. The enemy tried to convince you that you were overlooked, that others would receive before you, that maybe your faith was not strong enough. Those thoughts were never from God. Archangel Michael fights against those whispers. He stands as a defender against discouragement. And tonight, discouragement will lose its grip. You may feel waves of emotion as this unfolds. That is normal. When long-held tension leaves the body, it creates space for peace. Do not resist the emotion. Let it flow. Let the gratitude rise naturally. Now pause with me for a second. If this message is resonating with your spirit, if you can feel that something is aligning in your life, take a moment to engage. Like this video so more souls who are waiting for their breakthrough can find it. Share it with someone who has been praying silently. Comment what you have been believing God for, not in fear, but in faith. Subscribe and become part of this growing family that stands under divine protection. And if your heart is led, join the membership to go deeper into these prophetic messages. What we are building here is not just a channel, it is a spiritual refuge. Because what is happening right now is bigger than one person. The reason you were drawn here at this exact time is because heaven knew you needed confirmation before manifestation. Confirmation strengthens faith, and faith prepares you to receive. Something about tonight will feel different. You will sense completion, boom, or sudden acceleration. It will not be forced. You will feel natural, almost effortless. That is how divine timing works. When it is truly from God, it flows without confusion. Archangel Michael is not announcing possibility. He's declaring readiness. The waiting season is ending. The silent prayers are turning into visible answers. And the joy you are about to feel will remind you why you never fully gave up. Stay attentive to what unfolds next, because the next layer of this revelation will show you exactly why March 29th could not come one day earlier. The timing had to be perfect. Chosen one. The reason this night feels heavier than usual is because something spiritual has reached completion, and completion always carries both intensity and release. You are not imagining the shift in your atmosphere. You are not overthinking the sudden calm mixed with anticipation. This is the moment where heaven transitions you from asking to receiving. For months, maybe even years, you have carried a prayer that felt fragile. You protected it from doubt. You rarely spoke about it openly because you were afraid someone else's disbelief might weaken your faith. You smiled in public while privately negotiating with God. You said, "If it is your will," even though deep down you hoped with everything inside you that it would be. And tonight, that hope is being honored. Archangel Michael does not stand beside empty promises. His presence signals enforcement. When he steps forward in the spiritual realm, it means the decree has already been signed. What is unfolding now is not negotiation. It is delivery. There was a battle around this blessing. Not because you are unworthy, but because what you are receiving will shift your direction. It will alter your emotional state. It will restore something that almost broke permanently. The resistance you felt was proof of value. If it were small, it would not have been contested. Think about the nights you almost surrendered the prayer. The moments you said, "Maybe this is not meant for me." Yet somehow, even after disappointment, you still returned to God with the same request. That persistence was not stubbornness. It was alignment. Your spirit recognized what was written for you before your mind could accept it. March 29th marks a divine intersection between endurance and reward. You endured quietly. You endured when no applause followed your faith. You endured when others received their answers first. You endured when silence felt louder than any rejection. And now the reward approaches with speed. The joy that is coming will not simply make you happy. It will validate your patience. It will confirm that heaven was never ignoring you. It will prove that delay is not denial when God is involved. There is something about to reach your hands, your phone, your ears, or your heart that will make you pause and whisper, "So this is what you were doing." Archangel Michael hath been guarding your emotional stability through this waiting season. There were outcomes that could have hurt you deeply if they arrived too early. There were partial answers that would have satisfied you temporarily, but robbed you long term. God did not want to give you a fraction of what you asked for. He wanted to give you the fullness. Fullness requires timing, and timing has arrived. You may notice that certain fears are suddenly dissolving. The anxiety that once gripped your chest feels weaker. Your overthinking is slowing down. That is because your spirit senses security before your circumstances fully reveal it. Spiritual security always precedes physical evidence. You not sabotage this moment by expecting disaster. You not rehearse worst-case scenarios. This is not the night of loss. This is the night of fulfillment. Something you thought was slipping away has been preserved. Something you thought was impossible has been approved. Something you thought was delayed beyond repair has been restored. Let gratitude rise before the manifestation fully appears. Gratitude accelerates reception. When you thank God in advance, you demonstrate trust in His character. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this shift. He has fought off discouragement that tried to drain you. He has stood guard over your mind when negativity tried to rewrite your expectations. And now He stands not as a warrior in battle, but as a guardian of celebration. There is a difference between temporary excitement and divine joy. Temporary excitement depends on circumstances staying perfect. Divine joy remains even when life continues to move. What you are about to feel is divine joy, stable, deep, undeniable. When it happens, you will remember this very message. You will realize heaven prepared your heart so the blessing would not shock you into disbelief. Preparation prevents panic. Awareness prevents misinterpretation. This is why you were drawn here. Before this night ends, something will confirm what your spirit is already sensing. It may be subtle. It may be dramatic. But it will be unmistakable to you. Receive it without hesitation. Type "I receive my answer" in the comments if this message is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 2919 has just been released over your life. And as this divine answer unfolds, hear this with clarity. When you sow into the spread of God's Word, you are not supporting a channel. You are igniting light in souls who are still in darkness. The Lord says, "As you give, it shall be given back to you, pressed down and overflowing." And this is not distant scripture. This is His living voice over you right now. When you release a super thanks, when you step into membership, or when you send a seed through PayPal in the description, you are planting into fertile ground where testimonies grow. I feel led to say this plainly. I choose to be part of what God is building here. That declaration aligns your heart with heaven's movement. Do not treat this as a casual donation. Treat it as prophetic obedience. The same God who is releasing your long-awaited answer tonight is inviting you to become a vessel for someone else's breakthrough tomorrow. Your generosity becomes oil that keeps this lamp burning. It becomes manna for the weary. It becomes a river that reaches nations. And as you sow, may Archangel Michael stand guard over your household, your finances, and your future. Step into this moment boldly. Activate your seed. Let your giving speak faith louder than words. Faithful heart, what is about to unfold next will explain why the answer had to arrive at this exact moment and not a second sooner. Timing in the spiritual realm is not measured by clocks but by readiness. And readiness has finally met opportunity. You have changed during this waiting season. That is the part you may not have fully noticed. The person who first prayed that prayer is not the same person listening right now. Back then, You were asking from a place of urgency. Now you are receiving from a place of maturity. Back then, you wanted relief. Now you are prepared for responsibility. Because the truth is, that one thing you have been praying for is not just a gift. It is an assignment. Archangel Michael's presence signals protection over purpose. When heaven gives something valuable, it also surrounds it with strength. What is coming into your life tonight carries influence. It will shift how you see yourself. It will shift how others respond to you. It will even shift the direction of your next decisions. That is why the delay was necessary. If it had arrived earlier, you might have mishandled it. You might have doubted it. You might have accepted less than its full potential. But now, after the stretching, the refining, the silent battles, you're steady enough to hold it without fear. Something powerful happens when longing turns into fulfillment. It restores confidence. It rebuilds belief. It heals the small fractures disappointment left behind. You have been carrying subtle wounds from previous setbacks. Even though you continued forward, a part of you stayed cautious. A part of you expected things to fall apart again. The night interrupts that pattern. The joy that is entering your life is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is not designed to tease you and disappear. It is anchored in divine intention. When God releases something, He sustains it according to His will. Archangel Michael has been guarding your mind because this blessing required mental stability. You cannot step into joy while constantly preparing for loss. You cannot embrace abundance while rehearsing lack. So the battle was first internal. Doubt had to be silenced. Fear had to be weakened. Your trust had to grow stronger than your skepticism. And it has. Think back to how intensely you once worried about this prayer. Notice how that anxiety has slowly softened. That is growth. That is evidence that you were being shaped for what is now arriving. There is also a deeper layer to this. The thing you have been praying for is connected to your future in ways you do not yet see. It is not random. It is strategic. It connects to doors that will open later this year. It connects to relationships that will form. It connects to opportunities that require this missing piece to be in place first. Heaven does not operate in isolation. Every answered prayer fits into a larger design. That is why March 29th stands as a spiritual pivot. It is not just about joy tonight. It is about momentum tomorrow. When this answer settles into your life, it will trigger a chain reaction. Confidence will return. Energy will rise. Vision will expand. You will start thinking differently. You will speak differently. You will expect differently. An expectation changes reality. Archangel Michael stands as both protector and witness. He has seen your private tears. He has seen the nights when you asked God why it was taking so long. He has seen your restraint when you wanted to force outcomes. And because you did not force it, because you waited even when it was uncomfortable, you are now aligned with a blessing that does not require manipulation. It will come naturally. You will not have to beg for it. You will not have to chase it. You will not have to convince anyone. It will flow toward you. There is peace in that realization. Real blessing does not create chaos. It creates clarity. If something feels forced, pressured, or confusing, it is not from God. What is arriving now carries calm assurance. It may surprise you, but it will not disturb your spirit. This is how you will recognize it. Also understand this. When you receive what you prayed for, humility must accompany celebration. Do not forget the one who delivered it. Gratitude protects blessing. Pride weakens it. Stay grounded. Stay thankful. Keep your heart aligned. Because this is not the end of your testimony. It is the beginning of a new chapter. The chapter where you stop surviving and start thriving. The chapter where prayer turns into praise. The chapter where waiting turns into walking. You are stepping into evidence of God's faithfulness. And as this unfolds, you may feel an urge to look back at the past with new understanding. Suddenly, old disappointments will make sense. Old closures will feel necessary. You will realize that what did not work out with clearing space for what was meant to. Nothing was wasted. Every delay positioned you. Every tear strengthened you. Every moment of doubt deepened your dependence on God. Now the fruit appears. Archangel Michael remains at your side, not because danger is near, but because transition is sacred. When something shifts this significantly, protection continues. Your joy will be guarded. Your peace will be defended. Receive this next season without fear. Because tonight is not only about getting what you prayed for, it is about becoming the person who can sustain it. Steadfast soul, there is something deeper unfolding beneath the surface of this answered prayer, and it is essential that you understand it clearly. What you are receiving is not merely a response to a request. It is a restoration of trust. Somewhere along the journey, trust became fragile. Not destroyed but shaken. You still believed in God, but you questioned timing. You still prayed, but you guarded your expectations. You still hoped, but you braced yourself for disappointment. That quiet tension inside you has been exhausting. Tonight begins the healing of that tension. When God finally gives you the one thing you have been praying for, He is not just fulfilling a desire. He is repairing your confidence in His voice. He is reminding you that heaven listens even when it feels silent. Archangel Michael has been standing watch over your faith, ensuring that even in confusion, your belief would not collapse completely. There were moments you felt abandoned. You saw others celebrate their breakthroughs while you remained in waiting. You smiled for them, but inside you wondered when your turn would come. The question has echoed in your heart more times than you admit. Now heaven responds with clarity. Your turn has arrived. But there is something important about how this blessing enters your life. It will not come with noise or chaos. You will not feel unstable or uncertain. It will feel settled, as if it has always belonged there. That is how divine gifts arrive. They fit. The joy that overwhelms you tonight will not be overwhelming in a chaotic way. It will be overwhelming in a peaceful way. A weight of relief. A sense of finally exhaling. A quiet smile that grows into gratitude. You may even sit in silence for a moment, processing what has shifted. And as you process it, something inside you will whisper, God did not forget me. That whisper will restore parts of you that have been tired for too long. Archangel Michael's role in this season has been more significant than you realize. While you were focused on the visible delay, he was engaged in invisible protection. Certain outcomes were blocked because they would have brought temporary satisfaction but long-term pain. Certain conversations were postponed because your heart needed strengthening first. Certain opportunities were redirected because they did not align with your full prayer. You asked for one thing, but God heard the deeper meaning behind it. Sometimes we pray for love, but what we truly need is security. Sometimes we pray for success, but what we truly need is stability. Sometimes we pray for relief, but what we truly need is transformation. God answers the deeper layer. This is why the answer feels larger than expected. It touches more than one area of your life. It affects your mood, your energy, your outlook. It begins to influence how you speak about your future. Instead of cautious language, you begin to use confident language. That shift is powerful, because once trust is restored, faith multiplies. You will start praying differently after this. Not from desperation, but from relationship. Not from fear, but from assurance. This answered prayer becomes evidence you can carry into future seasons. When new challenges arise, you will remember March 29th. You will remember how long you waited. You will remember how unlikely it felt. And you will remember that God still came through. That memory will strengthen you in ways you cannot yet measure. There is also a subtle warning wrapped in this blessing. Guard your joy. Not everyone will understand what this means to you. Some may minimize it. Some may question it. Some may not see its value. That is fine. This was not given for their validation. It was given for your growth. Archangel Michael continues to guard what God releases. Protection does not end when blessing begins. In fact, it increases. Stay discerning. Stay prayerful. Stay grateful. Do not allow negativity to plant doubt where certainty has just been established. You have crossed into fulfillment territory. The waiting chapter is closing, and the receiving chapter is opening. And with this opening comes responsibility. Use what you receive wisely. Honor it. Nurture it. Recognize its sacred timing. Because this is not just about tonight's joy. It is about the direction your life begins to take from here. You are stepping into a version of yourself that trusts again. A version that hopes without fear. A version that expects goodness. Archangel Michael stands as witness to this transformation. He has seen the old version of you struggling quietly. Now he stands beside the emerging version of you, steadier, stronger, ready. And what unfolds next will show you that this single answered prayer was only the first domino in a much larger divine sequence. Courageous one, now that the first wave of joy has touched your spirit, you must understand what follows next. Every divine answer carries momentum. It does not arrive to sit still, it arrives to move you forward. What you prayed for was not isolated. It was connected to a greater unfolding. When God releases one breakthrough, it creates space for another. When one door opens, it reveals a hallway you did not know existed. Tonight is not the conclusion of your story. It is the ignition point of acceleration. Archangel Michael remains present in this transition because acceleration requires stability. When life begins to shift quickly, it can feel overwhelming. Not in a negative way, but in a way that demands adjustment. You may notice opportunities appearing faster than usual. Conversations progressing more smoothly. Decisions becoming clearer. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. For a long time, you felt like you were pushing against resistance. Now you will feel like you are walking with assistance. Things that once drained your energy will begin to resolve. Situations that seemed complicated will simplify. Even your mindset will feel lighter, more focused, less scattered. But here is what you must guard against: shrinking back. Sometimes, when people finally receive what they prayed for, they subconsciously fear losing it. They hesitate. They hold back. They question whether it is too good to be true. Do not let fear rewrite your blessing. What God gives, He gives intentionally. Accept it fully. Archangel Michael has not brought you this far to watch you doubt at the doorway. There is a confidence rising in you now. It may feel unfamiliar at first. You are used to caution. You are used to preparing for disappointment. But this new season requires boldness. It requires you to believe that good things can remain. It requires you to step forward without rehearsing failure. The joy you are experiencing is a signal that your spirit recognizes divine timing. Let the joy expand. Let it change how you carry yourself. Let it influence how you speak about your future. Words have power. They can fulfillment, not revere. You may also notice that certain people respond differently to you. When your energy shifts, your environment reacts. Some will feel inspired by your breakthrough. Others may feel challenged by it. Stay humble, but do not dim your light to keep others comfortable. This blessing was not meant to be hidden. Archangel Michael's presence reminds you that you are protected, not just from external negativity, but from internal sabotage. Your thoughts must remain aligned with gratitude. When doubt whispers, answer it with remembrance. Remember how long you prayed. Remember how impossible it seemed. Remember how faithfully God responded. Gratitude will anchor you. Now pause with me for a moment. If this message is strengthening your faith, take action right now. Like this video so it reaches someone who is still in their waiting season. Share it with a friend who needs confirmation that their breakthrough is near. Comment what shifted for you tonight, because your testimony can ignite someone else's hope. Subscribe if you have not already, and become part of this growing community of believers who stand under divine protection. If you feel led, join the membership and go deeper into these prophetic revelations. What is happening here is not random content, it is spiritual alignment. And trust me, what unfolds next will connect even more powerfully to what you are experiencing now. As acceleration continues, you will begin to see patterns, small confirmations, repeated themes, doors opening in areas you had not even prayed about. This is how overflow works. When God responds to one request, He often releases more than you asked for. But stay attentive. Acceleration can be missed if you move carelessly. Pray before major decisions. Seek peace before commitment. Let calm assurance guide you rather than impulse. Archangel Michael walks beside you not because danger is imminent, but because growth is unfolding. Growth attracts attention. Growth requires protection. You are stepping into a visible shift, and visibility requires spiritual covering. Do not rush. Do not panic. Do not overanalyze. Simply move with steady faith. There is also something else happening beneath the surface. Your identity is upgrading. You are no longer the person defined by waiting. You are becoming the person defined by receiving. The shift changes posture. It changes tone. It changes expectation. You prayed for one thing. God is giving you that one thing. But in the process, He is also giving you confidence, clarity, and courage. And this is only the beginning of the unfolding. What is about to happen next will reveal why this blessing had to arrive before an even greater door could open in your life. Patient warrior, what you are stepping into now is bigger than a single answered prayer. The joy you felt was the signal, but the shift you are entering is the transformation. There is a greater door connected to what you just received, and it has been waiting for this exact alignment. For a long time, you focused on one request, one need, one outcome. You told yourself that if God would just answer that, you would be okay. But heaven was looking beyond that moment. Heaven was preparing you not just for relief, but for expansion. Archangel Michael has remained present because expansion attracts new responsibility. When your life begins to grow, your influence grows with it. When your confidence increases, your decisions carry more weight. What you thought was a personal blessing is actually part of a larger design. The one thing you prayed for was the key. And now that the key has turned, a new door is slowly opening. You may already sense it. a fresh idea forming in your mind, a renewed desire to pursue something you once postponed, a sudden clarity about what you truly want. This is not random inspiration. It is momentum building on the foundation of fulfillment. When a long-awaited prayer is answered, it unlocks courage. You begin to believe again. You begin to consider possibilities you once dismissed. You begin to move with less hesitation. That internal shift is powerful. It changes how you approach opportunities. It changes how you handle conversations. It changes how you see yourself. For too long, you saw yourself through the lens of delay. You defined yourself by what had not happened yet. You measured your progress by what seemed missing. But now, something has changed. You have evidence of divine faithfulness in your hands. That evidence becomes fuel. Archangel Michael stands not only as a protector of blessings, but as a guardian of destiny. When God accelerates someone, it is because their next season requires strength. And strength is exactly what has been developing in you. Think about how you handled the waiting season. You did not collapse completely. You did not abandon your faith entirely. Even when you felt discouraged, you kept returning to prayer. That persistence refined you. It made you steadier. It made you wiser. And now wisdom meets opportunity. The greater door opening before you will require bold steps. It may involve new commitments. It may involve stepping outside your comfort zone. It may require you to trust yourself in ways you have not before. But you are ready. The old version of you would have hesitated. The old version would have second-guessed every move. The old version would have waited for perfect certainty. But the version of you standing here now has grown through delay. You understand that timing matters. You understand that not everything must be rushed. That understanding is maturity. There is also something else unfolding quietly. Certain connections in your life will begin to shift. Some people will align more closely with your new direction. Others may drift naturally. Do not fear this adjustment. Alignment always refines relationships. Archangel Michael continues to guard your path, ensuring that the wrong influences do not attach themselves to your new momentum. When you rise, distractions often attempt to follow. Stay discerning. Stay prayerful. Not everything that looks exciting is meant for you. But what is meant for you will feel steady. You may soon encounter an opportunity that feels slightly intimidating. It will stretch you. It will challenge your old self-perception. And you will have a choice: retreat into familiarity or step into growth. Choose growth. Remember how impossible your answered prayer once felt. Remember how unlikely this joy seemed. If God could bring that to pass, He can sustain you through expansion. The same faith that carried you through waiting will carry you through growth. There is a rhythm forming in your life now. Receive. Go. Trust. Woo. This rhythm will become natural as you lean into it. Do not overcomplicate what God is simplifying. And as you continue forward, keep gratitude at the center. Gratitude protects expansion. It keeps your heart aligned. It reminds you where your strength comes from. Archangel Michael remains beside you, not because danger surrounds you, but because purpose is unfolding. Purpose requires protection. Purpose requires clarity. And you are stepping into both. The answered prayer was the beginning. The grayer door is the continuation. What comes next will show you that this joy was not just about making you happy. It was about positioning you for impact in ways you never expected. Anointed one, the deeper you step into this new season, the more you will realize that this was never just about receiving one blessing. It was about alignment with your divine assignment. The joy that overwhelmed you was the confirmation, but the calling attached to it is the true revelation. There is a reason the answer came when it did. There is a reason March 29th became the turning point. Heaven was not only responding to your prayer, heaven was positioning you for influence. What you carry now is not just fulfillment, it is testimony. And testimony has power. Archangel Michael stands watch as your season shifts from private endurance to visible evidence. For a long time, your battles were internal. You fought discouragement quietly. You wrestled with doubt in silence. You kept showing up even when your heart felt heavy. Now the fruit of that perseverance is visible, and visibility changes responsibility. People are going to notice the difference in you. They will see confidence where hesitation once lived. They will hear certainty where anxiety once spoke. They will sense peace radiating from you. And some will ask what changed. That is where your assignment begins. Because the very thing you prayed for, the very breakthrough that felt delayed, becomes the story that inspires someone else not to give up. You are not meant to hide this testimony. You are meant to steward it with humility and boldness. Archangel Michael's presence reminds you that when God elevates someone, He also strengthens their character. Remain grounded. Remain prayerful. Do not allow pride to distort what grace has built. This blessing was not earned by perfection. It was released by mercy. There is a sacred balance in this season. You are celebrating, but you are also being refined. Expansion is happening, but so is sharpening. As new opportunities open, discernment must increase. Not every open door is your door. Not every invitation aligns with your assignment. Listen closely to peace. Peace is your compass. The next phase of your life will require you to speak more boldly about what God has done. Not in arrogance, but in gratitude. Your voice carries weight now because it carries experience. You can speak about waiting because you waited. You can speak about faith because yours was tested. You can speak about joy because you almost forgot what it felt like. This is how God multiplies impact. He turns pain into preparation. He turns delay into depth. He turns prayer into platform. Archangel Michael continues to guard your emotional stability because growth can feel overwhelming. There will be moments when you pause and think, is this really happening? In those moments, anchor yourself in remembrance. Remember the nights of uncertainty. Remember the questions. Remember the longing. And then look at what God has done. Gratitude will steady you. There is also something prophetic about this season. What began as one answered prayer is about to ripple into other areas. Family relationships may begin to heal. Financial pressure may ease. Creative ideas may flow more freely. The atmosphere around you will feel lighter. This is overflow. But with overflow comes responsibility to steward it wisely. Manage your time intentionally. Guard your energy carefully. Protect your peace fiercely. Not everyone has access to your inner circle. Not everyone understands the weight of what you carry. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that protection does not end when blessing begins. In fact, it intensifies. Stay covered in prayer. Stay aligned with truth. Stay humble in victory. Type "I walk in my assignment" in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 8080 has just been activated over your life. And as you step boldly into this assignment, hear this with clarity. The harvest you are experiencing is proof that seeds grow when they are planted in faith. When you release a super thanks, when you step into membership, or when you sow through PayPal using the link in the description, you are planting seeds that allow this message to reach souls who are still in their waiting season. The Lord declares, Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, and that promise is alive over you right now. I declare this openly. I choose to sow where God is moving. That declaration aligns you with heaven's rhythm. Your giving becomes oil that keeps this prophetic fire burning. It becomes light in dark places. It becomes provision for someone who is one message away from hope. Do not hesitate when your spirit is stirred. Act in obedience. As you give, may open heavens respond over your household. May Archangel Michael guard your provision and multiply your seed. Step forward with authority. Activate your offering. Let your generosity echo in eternity. The next unfolding will reveal how this assignment stretches even further than you imagined. Brave heart, as this new chapter continues to unfold, you are beginning to realize that the blessing you received was not the destination. It was the doorway. What lies ahead carries even greater depth, and heaven is inviting you to walk into it with confidence. There is a sacred progression happening in your life. First came the waiting. Then came the breakthrough. Now comes the building. Breakthrough opens the door, but building establishes what remains. And this is where many people lose focus. They celebrate the answer, but they neglect the stewardship. You will not make that mistake. Archangel Michael stands beside you in this phase because establishment requires protection. When something new is planted, it must be guarded until its roots grow strong. The joy you experienced with the planting. What you do next determines the growth. You may already sense a deeper stirring within you, a desire to organize your life differently, a motivation to set boundaries you once ignored, a willingness to release habits that no longer align with who you are becoming. That stirring is not random. It is the Spirit guiding you into sustainability. The blessing you prayed for is meant to last. But lasting joy requires alignment in every area. If you prayed for restoration, then forgiveness must follow. If you prayed for provision, then wisdom must guide your decisions. If you prayed for love, then vulnerability must replace fear. The answer you received invites cooperation. Archangel Michael's presence is not only about defense, it is about direction. He stands as a reminder that divine favor does not remove responsibility. It enhances it. You have stepped into a season where your choices carry greater impact. The small decisions matter more now. The words you speak shape your atmosphere. The thoughts you entertain influence your peace. Be intentional. You are no longer in survival mode. You are in growth mode. Survival focuses on getting through the day. Growth focuses on building for the future. This shift in mindset will transform how you approach challenges. Instead of reacting emotionally, you will respond strategically. Instead of fearing loss, you will plan for increase. There is also a refinement happening in your relationships. Some connections will deepen because they align with your new direction. Others may fade naturally because they were only assigned to your previous season. Do not resist this pruning. Healthy growth sometimes requires release. Archangel Michael guards you from clinging to what no longer fits. Trust the process. Trust the separation when it happens gently. Trust the redirection when something feels slightly off. Peace is still your compass. As you build, remember to remain anchored in gratitude. Gratitude keeps your heart soft. It prevents entitlement. It protects humility. You did not force this breakthrough. You receive it by grace. Let that awareness shape your attitude moving forward. There will also be moments when old fears attempt to resurface. Memories of past disappointments may whisper that this joy will not last. When that happens, confront the lie with truth. You have evidence now. You have a testimony. You have lived proof that God answers at the appointed time. Do not allow yesterday's wounds to dictate tomorrow's expectations. Archangel Michael continues to stand watch over your mind. Mental stability is crucial in this season. Guard what you consume. Guard who influences you. Guard the conversations you entertain. Growth requires clarity. There is something powerful about this stage of your journey. You are no longer asking, will it happen? You are asking, how do I steward it? That question reveals maturity. It reveals readiness for even greater responsibility. And greater responsibility is coming. The door that opened through your answered prayer connects to a larger corridor of opportunity. You may soon be presented with choices that expand your territory. Expansion can feel intimidating, but remember how far you have already come. The same God who delivered the one thing you prayed for will sustain you as you build upon it. Move steadily. Move prayerfully. Move confidently. Archangel Michael remains at your side, not because you are fragile, but because you are valuable. Valuable things are guarded. Valuable lives are guided. You are building something that will outlast this moment of celebration. You are establishing foundations that will support future blessings. You are stepping into stability that once felt impossible. And as this establishment continues, the next revelation will show you how your growth begins to influence not only your life, but the lives connected to you in ways you never anticipated. Return in spirit. What is unfolding now is no longer just about your personal breakthrough. It is about the ripple effect your transformation is creating in the lives around you. When God answers a prayer that has been carried for a long time, the impact rarely stays contained within one person. It spreads. You may have already noticed subtle shifts in your environment. The atmosphere in your home feels lighter. Conversations feel more hopeful. Even your posture has changed. There is a steadiness in you that was not there before. That steadiness is influencing others, even if they cannot fully explain it. Archangel Michael remains present in this expansion because influence attracts attention. When your life begins to reflect answered prayer, it becomes evidence. And evidence can inspire or intimidate. Some people will feel drawn toward your peace. Others may question how you arrived here. Stay humble, but do not shrink. The joy that overwhelmed you on March 29th was not meant to be hidden. It was meant to testify. There is something powerful about visible faithfulness. When others see that you endured delay and still received breakthrough, it challenges their despair. Your story becomes a living reminder that waiting seasons do not last forever. And without you realizing it, your growth begins to unlock hope in someone else. But with influence comes responsibility. Guard your words carefully. Do not exaggerate your strength or minimize God's role. Speak honestly about the waiting. Speak honestly about the doubts. And speak boldly about the fulfillment. Authentic testimony carries weight. You are entering a season where your example speaks louder than your explanation. People will observe how you handle success. They will watch how you respond to stress. They will notice whether gratitude remains consistent. Let your consistency reflect maturity. Archangel Michael stands not only as your protector, but as a guardian over the impact of your story. There are people assigned to be strengthened by your breakthrough. There are conversations you will have that shift someone's direction. There are moments when your calm confidence will stabilize someone else's fear. Do not underestimate the power of your transformation. At the same time, continue nurturing your own foundation. Influence must be supported by integrity. Stay rooted in prayer. Stay disciplined in your habits. Stay aligned with truth. The same focus that carried you through waiting must now carry you through visibility. This is also a time to expand your vision. What once felt like a distant dream may now feel achievable. The answered prayer has proven that impossibility is not permanent. Let that awareness stretch your thinking. Consider new goals. Explore new ideas. Trust that the same divine timing that delivered before can deliver again. Now pause for a moment. If this message has been strengthening your faith and expanding your vision, engage with it intentionally. Like this video so that it reaches someone who is still questioning whether their breakthrough will come. Share it with a friend who needs to hear that delay does not mean denial. Comment what this answered prayer has shifted inside you. Subscribe if you have not yet, and become part of this community that stands under divine covering. If you feel called to go deeper, join the membership and walk with us as these prophetic messages continue to unfold. What is building here is not casual inspiration. It is spiritual momentum. And what is coming next will connect directly to the responsibility you now carry. There is a greater layer ahead. As your influence grows, so does your capacity. You are not only receiving blessings, you are becoming a conduit, a channel through which encouragement flows, a vessel through which reassurance travels. Archangel Michael remains attentive because growth must remain protected from pride and from fear. Both extremes can derail progress. Stay balanced. Celebrate but remain teachable. Move confidently, but remain dependent on God. The ripple effect of your answered prayer is only beginning. In the coming days, you may witness someone close to you stepping into their own breakthrough. Do not be surprised. Breakthrough can be contagious when faith is visible. You are part of a larger movement than you realize. And what unfolds next will reveal how your personal joy connects to a greater mission that stretches beyond your immediate circle and into territory you never expected to influence. Faithful witness, the mission unfolding before you is larger than comfort, larger than celebration, and larger than personal success. What began as a private prayer has evolved into a public assignment. You are not only living in answered prayer, you are walking in activated purpose. The ripple effect that started in your inner world is now stretching outward. Doors that once seemed unrelated to your original request are beginning to open. Conversations are aligning. Opportunities are presenting themselves in subtle but undeniable ways. This is not random expansion. This is divine strategy. Archangel Michael stands at the edge of this new territory because mission always attracts resistance. When your life begins to influence others, the weight of that influence must be guarded. Not everyone will understand your shift. Not everyone will celebrate your growth. But that is not your concern. Your responsibility is obedience. The joy that overwhelmed you on March 29th was confirmation, but confirmation always precedes commission. When heaven confirms something in your life, it is often preparing you to carry something greater. You are now carrying evidence of faithfulness, and evidence changes how you speak. You will find yourself offering encouragement more naturally. You will sense when someone is in a waiting season because you remember yours. Your words will carry compassion instead of judgment. Your presence will bring calm instead of comparison. That is transformation. But remain alert. Influence must remain anchored in humility. And never forget the nights when you felt uncertain. Never forget the prayers whispered in exhaustion. Never forget the doubt that almost convinced you to stop believing. Remembering where you came from will protect where you are going. Archangel Michael continues to guard your focus because distractions increase when mission expands. There may be invitations that sound impressive but pull you away from your core calling. There may be voices that attempt to define your purpose for you. Stay grounded in what God has personally revealed. Peace remains your compass. As this mission grows, You may also feel moments of stretching. Growth requires adjustment. You may need to refine your schedule, strengthen your discipline, or restructure priorities. What once worked in your waiting season may not serve you in your impact season. Adapt with wisdom. There is also a new level of spiritual sensitivity awakening within you. You will sense when something is misaligned faster than before. You will feel when a conversation needs caution. You will recognize when an opportunity carries depth. This heightened awareness is not anxiety, it is discernment. Lean into it. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that you are not navigating this alone. Protection surrounds purpose. Guidance accompanies growth. You are not stepping into unfamiliar territory without covering. There will be moments when the weight of influence feels heavy. When someone shares how your testimony encouraged them, you may feel the seriousness of responsibility. Do not let that weight intimidate you. Let it refine you. Accountability strengthens integrity. Your personal breakthrough has now become a beacon. Others are watching how you sustain it. They are observing whether your gratitude remains consistent. They are noticing whether your trust deepens or fades. Let your consistency preach louder than your words. This mission will not always feel dramatic. Often it will unfold quietly. A conversation here, a message there, a decision that sets a new example. Impact does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it grows steadily beneath the surface. Continue building. Continue guarding your peace. Continue aligning your actions with your faith. The same God who answered your prayer is guiding your steps into this expanded assignment. Archangel Michael remains vigilant, ensuring that fear does not creep back into your decisions. Fear has no authority in a life marked by fulfillment. You have crossed too far to return to hesitation. What is unfolding now is preparation for a final revelation, a culmination of everything you have experienced since March 29th. The answered prayer, the expansion, the influence, the mission, all of it connects to a deeper truth that is about to become clear. And when that truth settles fully into your spirit, you will understand that this journey was never just about receiving one thing. It was about becoming someone who could carry many. Chosen vessel, you have now reached the point where everything connects. The waiting was not punishment. The delay was not neglect. The silence was not absence. It was preparation for identity. When March 29th arrived and joy overwhelmed you, it was not simply about receiving that one thing you had been praying for. It was about awakening you to who you truly are when you trust God completely. The answered prayer was the evidence, but the transformation within you was a real miracle. Look at yourself now. You are steadier. You are calmer. You are more discerning. You are less desperate and more confident. That is not accidental growth. That is refinement. Archangel Michael has walked beside you through every stage of this journey. Through the unseen battles. Through the nights of questioning. Through the moments when giving up felt easier than believing again. And now he stands not as a warrior in conflict, but as a guardian over fulfillment. This is what completion feels like. Not loud, not chaotic, not unstable. Complete. You prayed for one thing. God gave you that one thing. But in doing so, He restored your trust, strengthened your faith, refined your character, expanded your influence, and activated your assignment. The gift was real, yes, but the person you became in the process is eternal. That is why you were told to open this now. Because if you had missed this alignment, you might have received the blessing without recognizing the identity shift. And when identity is not recognized, blessings are mishandled. But you are aware now. You understand now. The version of you who once prayed from fear has become the version who now walks in faith. Archangel Michael remains as a reminder that protection continues even after promises are fulfilled. Do not drift from gratitude. Do not slip into self-reliance. Do not forget the one who brought you here. Guard your peace fiercely. Protect your calling carefully. Walk forward confidently. There will still be challenges ahead. Growth never eliminates learning. But you no longer approach challenges as someone waiting to be rescued. You approach them as someone who has already seen God move. That changes everything. The joy you experienced was not temporary emotion. It was divine confirmation, and confirmation creates stability. You now carry a testimony that cannot be erased by future storms. When doubt tries to whisper again, answer it with remembrance. When fear tries to re-enter, answer it with evidence. When impatience tries to rush you, answer it with trust. March 29th marked a shift, but this moment marks understanding. You were never forgotten. You were never overlooked. You were never denied. You were being prepared for fulfillment that required maturity. Archangel Michael stands watch as you step into this next horizon. And as you move forward, know this deeply. What God started, He will continue. What He released, He will sustain. What He promised, He will protect. Type "I walk in fulfillment" in the comments if this message has sealed something in your spirit. Blessing code 1229 is now activated over your life. And as this journey comes full circle, hear this clearly. The same God who answered your prayer is still moving through this message to reach countless others who are in their waiting season. Scripture declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." And that is not a distant verse. That is God speaking directly into your obedience right now. When you release a super thanks, when you step into membership, or when you sow through PayPal using the link in the description, you are not funding a video. You are lighting a lamp for someone who is about to give up. I declare this openly. I choose to partner with what heaven is building. A decision turns generosity into prophecy. Your seed becomes oil that keeps this mission burning. Your giving becomes water that turns deserts into gardens. Do not treat this as optional support. Treat it as divine alignment. As you sow, may open heavens respond over your household. May provision pursue you. May Archangel Michael guard your increase and multiply your harvest. Step forward boldly. Activate your seed. Obey without hesitation. This is not the end. This is establishment. Walk in it.